What's going on, Buffs Nation? Coach Prime is still on a heater as this weekend wraps up a massive recruiting opportunity through the spring game, leading to a bunch of commitments, right? We've talked about it in about 2 or 3 videos that I've made for you all here on the channel, and it just keeps rolling. On Sunday, we had 3 more commitments. 3 more commitments from 3 players that's going to be impactful for the Buffs long term. Not only short term, but long term, which is good with players coming out of the 23 class, as well as one being part of this 24 class. And he's going to join all of the summer enrollees and, add some depth to what the Buffs are doing. And so definitely going to be excited about that. I'm going to go through each one of these players and I'm going to let you all know what Coach Prime cannot stop doing a little bit later after we talk about these players and all their numbers. And so let's dive into the 3 guys that Coach Prime and staff got commitments from this past weekend, adding to a massive weekend there at the spring game here on Primetime for College Football. So let's talk about the first set of players. We can't talk about one, I talk about 2 because they're brothers. And there's a connection between all 3 of these players that really was fascinating to me when I first looked at it. The main thing is they're all from Georgia. But I'm going to tell you what jumped out the most out of the fact that these 3 are connected closely. Definitely something Coach Prime got to keep going. First off, Colton Hood. Now, Colton Hood is a former DB from Auburn. He is rated at about 6 foot 195. He was a 3-star prospect per 247, but he went to Auburn at DB. Decided to hit the transfer portal, and now he'll be at Colorado. He did not play his freshman year there, but the good thing is that you're bringing a player that was redshirted out of the SEC, playing ball out of Georgia, and to me, you're bringing someone that has the experience, SEC experience, that can help out in grooming this class going forward, right? He understands what you need to do to work hard. He understands what you need to do to be successful, especially in the SEC. Now, Auburn may not have been the most successful, but Auburn played some dogs, right? They played up against Alabama. They went up against the Georgias of the world. They played against some tough teams in the SEC or teams that went against tough teams in the SEC. So they have a really good understanding of what you need to do to be successful. And all at the end of the day, it's about execution. Now, Colton's bringing that experience to a cornerback room that is led by, of course, one of the greatest to play the game. But at the same time, he's going to have the opportunity to compete because that's the one thing Coach Prime has told everybody. You come here, we're going to give you a chance to compete. It's all up to you about, executing on it. And so Colton is huge to bring in. Plus you bring his brother, Brandon Hood. Now, Brandon was a 3-star prospect out of Georgia as well. McDonough, Georgia is where both of them are from. And the cool thing about him is he was a preferred walk-on at Georgia. That's where he was going to initially go. Then when him and Colton decided to take a visit to Colorado during the spring game, it appears that what Coach Prime was preaching resonated with both. So they both decided to commit together. And so you saw the commitment picture. It's both of them, which is awesome. Now, I went and looked up Brandon just to kind of see what we're working with. 5'10", about 185-pound running back, which is a nice size back. He's going to be able to put on some weight. And he saw time as slot receiver as well as kick returner back in his high school days. So to me, it means that Colorado's going to be able to use him for a lot of different things. That's what's needed, right? The versatility you got out of a Dylan Edwards who transferred out and appears to have committed to Kansas State going back home. You get some of that versatility with a Brandon Hood. Now the question is, how good is he, right? Well, he was a preferred walk-on at Georgia. Georgia wanted to bring him in. I'm just going to keep it a buck. Georgia has had some very good luck with preferred walk-ons over the last few years, right? They bring in guys that they feel like can compete and help push the room. Some of them end up on the field. I mean, they won 2 national championships with one. So I'm just saying that doesn't mean that Brandon Hood isn't a good option for Colorado. To me, it feels like he's someone that a big school wanted. Then he's definitely someone that you want to consider to be able to put on the field. It's a huge deal for what Colorado is doing and what Coach Prime is trying to put together here for the Buffs. And so that's the brothers. You got Colton Hood as well as Brandon Hood. Feel free to hop in the comments and join the conversation, show them some love. But next up, you got a transfer that's coming in from Clemson, offensive lineman Zack Owens. Now, Zach's pulling up. He's a big boy. He comes in 6'7", about 300 and about 50 pounds, right? He's not a little guy. He's a bigger guy. My apologies. He's sitting at 6'5", 385 as of the transfer. I was looking at his high school numbers. High school numbers were pretty still impressive as well. He's a big boy. And so seeing him come in at that size, he's done some slimming, and he was a top 300 player in the country, went to Clemson, 2023 class, just like Colton Hood, did not really play and decided to come out. Now, Zack Owens is also from Georgia, from McDonough, Georgia as well. And talking about him leads me to explain really what Coach Prime can't stop doing. He's getting a lot of kids that have played and worked together. All three, Colton Hood, Brandon Hood, as well as Zack Owens or Zachariah Owens, they all played at in McDonough. They're all from McDonough, Georgia, and they played ball together at Eagles Landing Christian Academy. And so you're bringing in three dudes that went to high school together, that know each other very well, were on the same team together, and now you're bringing them here to the college. That's a big thing to me. I feel like Coach Prime should continue to do. It's something that's going to be a great way of building camaraderie quickly, especially when you're relying on so many transfers. If you can get players that have played together, a lot of the times they're willing to work together and help out with what's going on in the locker room and just the whole ambiance and everything. I think this is a big deal for Colorado. I think it's a big move for them, and I think it's something that's going to be very helpful for them long term. I love the fact that Prime is pulling in players together. I love the fact that Prime is focusing on growing the team during this program as a team and having teammates really work in conjunction together. I feel like that's what we're going to see out of this. And as we know, Coach Prime preaches, everybody has the opportunity to play if you hustle and grind and work your way towards it. So I'm not going to argue with what he's doing. I think it's a good strategy, especially with all the turnover we've seen the last 2 years. Bringing in players with chemistry and camaraderie already may be helpful. But Zack Owens brings you a big offensive lineman that's going to be able to help grow what Colorado is doing on the offensive line, get you some depth, some young depth, but someone that we've seen play. I mean, watching his film and video, he be running dudes over. Man, like he's a big boy, is pretty strong and solid. So I think this is a good move for Colorado. I think it's a good move for the program. And I think Coach Prime, of course, we talked about how he has a plan. It looks like he's executing it, bringing in guys together. So, want to talk to you about those two commitments. Feel free to get in the comments and join the conversation. A lot of big stuff going on here at Buffs Nation for you all. Boulder, y'all should be excited. It's going to be a new season. Coach Prime's already said the goal is to make a bowl game. That is at minimum. And that is the perfect progression for what he's done coming here. Going from the 1 win to 4 wins in his first year and then going up into a bowl game would be a huge accomplishment, especially having Shedeur and Travis Hunter on the roster. Man, and in Shiloh, I promise you, man, the sky's the limit for what you all are going to do. So make sure you hop in the comments. Let us know what you feel about that. On the screen, you'll see another video where we're talking about the last set of commitments, the last 3 that popped up on actual spring game day, that Saturday. Check that one out. Let us know what y'all think, and we'll talk soon.